So I won't lie, I originally picked up this book because it felt like it was going to have Haunting of Hill House vibes to it. It sort of does, but it's also something completely different. Hi guys, it's April, and I'm gonna do this review the same way I do all of my other reviews. I'm gonna have the non-spoilery section up front, followed by the spoiled-filled dump afterwards, in case you don't want to spoil yourself. But otherwise, I will not judge you for however long you do or do not watch. I'm just glad you're here. So, A Home Before Dark by Riley Sager is the story of Maggie Holt, who goes back to Banbury Hall after the passing of her father, Ewan. Ewan Holt is famous for writing the story about their family's brief stay at Banbury Hall, where a lot of supernatural events happened. Maggie Holt has never been a believer of her father's work. She doesn't remember anything from the time that they spent there. And so after her father passed and she inherits the house, she decides that she's going to renovate the house to sell. But at the same time, she's going to start digging into the history of her family and the house. So I did say that I originally picked up this book because I thought it was going to have a lot of Hill House vibes, because it definitely sounds like that by the description. This is more of a thriller mystery with a side of eerie supernatural type events. You alternate between Maggie's father's story and her current point of view and what is happening presently at the house. You have a lot of parallels that you are going on, and Maggie is, of course, slowly putting together everything that happened. I didn't ultimately find this the scariest read I have ever read. There are some points where it had those beautiful classic moments, which I do appreciate. And as much as I like those moments, I feel like the atmosphere could have been built up a little bit more to make those truly scary. I do like how the characters were developed. You have Maggie and all the internal things that are going on with her, and as she's discovering everything that is going on, you can very distinctly feel her father's voice in his storytelling completely differently than you have Maggie's, which I do appreciate, because sometimes when you're flipping back and forth between those different kind of perspectives, you can lose that and they become mushed together into feeling the same. And here you don't really get that. There is some moments of suspense, and I think there's more of those than there are of those scary moments. So if you are one of those people who scare easily, you might find this a little bit easier to digest, but there are moments that you probably want to be aware of. I like the way that Riley Sager decided to tell this story and where he went with it. Throughout the whole story, I was trying to piece together with Maggie what was going on. There were moments where I thought I knew kind of what was going on, but then things kind of got flipped on me, which I like when that happens, because when I feel like I know too much, it kind of pulls me out of the story. So here I was left guessing on certain aspects, and I really truly enjoyed it for that. So if you like something that is a little on the haunted house side, but a lot on the piecing together of mysteries, you will probably like this book. But this is the moment in which I am going to switch over. I'm going to start talking about some spoiled-filled thoughts. But if you would like to stay, feel free to. But if you are going to go and read it, tell me down below so that I know and we can start a conversation after you finish. Now, I do have to say, while there are a lot of anxiety-ridden moments in this book, they weren't as many as I expected to be. This was more of a slow burn than I anticipated. Is mostly Maggie piecing things together. Every once in a while, something eerie would happen. I was half expecting a little bit more towards that haunted house vibe. I do like how open-ended they left the ending. You have Maggie, who has pieced together that all of the hauntings from the first time at the house had been people who her 5-year-old mind had turned into entities and ghosts and imaginary friends. That she was trying to process what was going on. And then when her parents thought that she had murdered the babysitter, it was actually one of those real life people who her parents didn't believe exist, and she thought was a ghost, and that the world ended up thinking was a ghost. And I like how convoluted and messed up that got. I like seeing that kind of pulling apart pieces, but at the same time, it did leave an element of maybe spirits are real, because at the ending there where she did see Petra, or did she not? Who knows? It was interesting how the haunting of the present was actually built because of the haunting in the book. And if the book hadn't existed, things wouldn't have played out as they could have. And I understand why her parents did what they did, but at the same time, if they had just gone to the police and let them kind of figure what was going on, they would have saved themselves so much grief. And plus, she was 5 years old. She might have had some counseling. They probably would have realized that something else happened and that it may have been an accident. It wasn't something to punish a 5-year-old for. And I know they kind of just wanted her to forget about it so that she didn't have it hanging over her head all this time. But instead, they created something else entirely that hung over her. This was a lot of mental play, which is really what makes a good horror story and haunting in my brain. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. Tell me down below what you thought about this read. I would love to know. And of course, if you want to see more content like this, subscribe, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.